coming up, should Brits be forced to change their lifestyle in order to meet net zero targets? I'm going to rattle off all of the things you are going to have to give up if we want to hit net zero by 2050. So, first though, a senior police figure has caused outrage after suggesting that these controversial non-crime hate incidents should be rebranded rather than scrapped entirely. So more than 13,000 were recorded in England and Wales last year. That's despite police forces being told to only use them, whereas there is a serious risk of significant harm. And now the chairman of the College of Policing, Lord Herbert, has reportedly suggested that they should be renamed rather than ditched entirely. And I'll tell you why they want to do that, in my view, because they want to get the words non-crime out of it, to make it sound more sinister. Former Royal Marine Jamie Michael's life was turned upside down when he was hauled through the court simply for posting a social media video criticising the Labour government in the aftermath of that Southport massacre.
And I warned that this type of thing was going to start happening. We, as a community, should not let any of these type people into our valley, OK? We shouldn't let any of these migrants who've just come into the country, OK, settle you in the valleys.
But, shock horror, it took a jury of his peers just 17 minutes to acquit him earlier this month, and I'm not surprised by that. Well, I'm very pleased to be joined by Jamie himself tonight. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. It's great to have you on the show. Thank you for doing it. I mean, how did this whole thing affect your life to start with? What was it like for you?
Well, it's been very stressful over the past 7 months. I've been through some stressful situations in my life, but this has got to be up there with one of the most stressful. This involved my family. As I said in other interviews, they threatened to. My duty solicitor told me that I was possibly going to be facing terrorism charges, and also I was going to be possibly bringing my partner in just because she lived with me, just because she would be guilty by association. So the stresses of that, the kind of just the thought of that was quite stressful by itself. And then being sent to prison on a racial charge, that's got dangers of itself, because there are some dangerous people in prison, and some people, there's lots of migrants in there, and they could find out what you're in for, and they could possibly try to harm you when you're in there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I just wonder, you mentioned there about the duty solicitor. So some of that advice that you were getting early doors there from the person that you're looking to, for a bit of help, really, sounds pretty terrifying. Were they initially telling you that you should try to just plead guilty to this, or how was it for you before Free Speech Union picked it up?
I told them I'm not going guilty, but they said, you should think about this, because they were comparing other charges at the time for the similar type thing, and they said that these people are facing 2 to 4 years, so you could be, facing possibly maybe 3 years, and that could be a year off your sentence. And I just kept repeating to them, I've never said anything racial. I'm not a racist. I have immigrant friends. I have mixed race friends, and I just stuck with my guns. But he just kept saying, I think we need to think about it. So he guided me down the no plea for my first court appearance in the magistrates' court. I went no plea, which was a mistake, because I should have gone not guilty from the start. Yeah. And like I said in other interviews as well, I was denied a phone call till after my police interview, and they said it was due to the charge I was facing. And otherwise I would have, sought, a solicitor that was recommended. And in the end, I ended up with the Free Speech Union, which, got me out of this mess. And from now on, that's going to be my message to everyone, is to, if you get in a police station, just call on the Free Speech Union when you're there, because
How interesting is that, though, Jamie? You've managed to answer. I've been desperate to talk to you, because you've managed to answer something that has been burning away at me. When I was seeing people arrested for things, charged with things in the aftermath of that Southport massacre, and they were going guilty, 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 guilty plea, and they were getting sent down for years. In the case of some of them did stuff wrong. I'm not going to make any bones about that. Some of them deserve to go to prison, in my view, for some of the things they did. Right. But a load of them didn't, and they still got years in prison. And I just wondered, what were their conversations with their solicitors at that time, and you have answered that question where duty solicitors were telling people, plead guilty, plead guilty, plead guilty, and they did. And here we are. And I wonder how many of them, had they pled not guilty like you, Jamie, would have been acquitted like you in about 17 minutes' time. But looking forward, Jamie, are you afraid going forward about the state of free speech in this country? Are you afraid about the potential for there being some kind of police state and the encroachment of police powers?
Well, I think they are trying to strip out free speech away bit by bit. Like you said, they are trying to rename this non-crime hate speech now, just like they renamed illegal migration to irregular migration, just to make it sound a little bit better. You know, I think I do think our free speech is at risk massively, and you know, that's you know, they were the kind of things that were happening in Nazi Germany at the time, and you know, this to me is you know, a big kind of alarm bell ringing that we are going in that direction.
Yeah, just very quickly, really. I mean, the impact this had on you was absolutely massive, wasn't it? And you know, just going forward, mate. I mean, do you think is this going to shut you up, or are you just going to kind of keep speaking your mind?
No, I think it's important that I keep speaking my mind, because you know, if I stop, then it's going to scare everyone else, and then you know, all this non-crime hate speech is directed at the right-wing politics, or the far right, as they call it. It's not far right; it's just this right-wing politics, and all the people on the left seem to get left alone. Just like the lady had a knock on the door this week for just saying that she thinks the Labour councillor should resign. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, two police officers. They've got the time to do that. Greater Manchester, by the way, has one of the highest crime rates in the country.
The Labour councillors that are reporting people, especially around here, there's two other men sitting in jail now from the same Labour councillor that reported me. And I was at an event with the Voice of Wales on the weekend, and a lady told me there that a friend of hers, he was over the age of 60, also being reported by Labour councillors, now facing 18 weeks. Well, he is in jail for 18 weeks, and he's over the age of 60.
It's a big issue, that. It's a big issue that needs to be looked into, Jamie, about who is actually reporting it and are they members of the Labour Party. But, Jamie, thank you very much, mate. Good luck to you. I hope to talk to you again very soon. So this is a source in the Home Office who's told us we'd expect the police to be applying a common-sense approach when it comes to the recording of non-crime hate incidents, and guidance is already clear that trivial incidents should not be recorded. Where non-crime hate incidents can be useful is where they help the police to build an intelligence picture on community tensions in order to map trends and prevent escalation. Right, OK, coming up, I'm going to tell you everything you need to give up if you want to hit Ed Miliband's net zero target.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day.